Now this bell tolling softly for another says to me, thou must die. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thy own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sin to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
If you walk through the garden, you better watch your back. Well, I beg your pardon, walk a straight and narrow track. If you walk with Jesus, he'll save your soul. You gotta keep the devil down in the hole. All the angels sing about Jesus' mighty soul, and they shield you with their wings, keep you close to the Lord. Don't pay heed to temptation, or your hands are so cold. You gotta keep the devil way down in the hole. Way down in the hole, way down in the hole, way down in the hole, way down in the hole.
Good evening, and welcome to The Tower, your direct connection to an intellectual exploration of The Wire. Today's segment is entitled, For Whom the Bell Tolls, The Wire Stringer Bell, as a tragic intellectual. But before we delve into the life and character of Stringer Bell, let's have a little context for today's exploration. When Antonio Gramsci penned The Intellectuals, he did so while imprisoned on an isolated island in Ustica, or the poor prison in Turi. The prison notebooks, which they came to be called, represent a collection of 30 different notebooks exploring various elements of Italian history and nationalism. Nevertheless, despite this national focus, many of the themes operate and are applicable to a larger international economy, with one of the most culturally relevant and enduring philosophies centering on a discussion of intellectuals. In the notebook aptly titled The Intellectual, Gramsci proclaims that all men are potentially intellectuals in the sense of having an intellect and using it, but not all are intellectuals by social function. He continues with a very intriguing distinction between two intellectual classes, the traditional intellectuals and the organic intellectuals. The fundamental differences between these classes, he argues, stems from the professional function of the former and the community evolution of the latter. This idea, while grounded in the educational history of Italy, is extremely telling of the intellectual history of African Americans. In fact, as Gramsci's dichotomization of the intellectual has gained prominence, one has witnessed a move among certain African American thinkers to reconcile the duality, to become public intellectuals in a sense. That is to say, formerly trained thinkers are now serving as philosophers organically linked to their community, their heritage, their race. Notwithstanding this effort, there is a population of black thinkers that defy Gramsci's dichotomy and problematize the noble intentionality of the public intellectual. These urban philosophers are quintessentially interstitial, as they float between the institutions that produce the traditionalists and the communities that shape the organics. However, while skillfully existing in both worlds, they dedicate their intellectualism to a development of a different social niche, namely that of our urban space largely defined by crime, corruption, and exploitation. Inevitably, this commitment, being neither formally traditional nor nobly organic, destines them tragic. In June of 2002, American society witnessed the brainchild of David Simon with The Wire, a drama series set in Baltimore, Maryland. While posited as a crime series by critics and viewers alike, Simon argues that The Wire was designed to capture the complexity of the American city. Regardless of such debates, much like Gramsci's Notebooks, The Wire is written, or shall I say shot, with a brilliant cultural textuality, at once disturbing America's historical narrative of opportunity, tolerance, acceptance, etc., and highlighting the effects of social and political institutions on the lives of individual people. One of these personalities, lending itself to deep textual analysis, is Russell Stringer Bell, played by the theatrically dexterous Idris Elba. Using the Gramscian theory as both a catalyst and departure point, this project seeks to reveal how Stringer Bell emerges as a tragic intellectual, disrupting the traditional organic duality while simultaneously reinforcing it. Indeed, Bell's tragic fate is a necessary one, as his intellectual nomadism in a formal educational institution and a noble community space proves culturally problematic. His death, magnifying the hegemonic control of American intellectualism, is symptomatic of a fate bestowed on a forgotten class of African American intellectuals. But again, before we delve into his life, into his character, let's learn a little bit about the game that he plays.
Now look, check it. It's simple. It's simple. See this? This the kingpin, all right? And he the man. You get the other dude's king, you got the game. But he trying to get your king too, so you got protected. Now the king, he move one space any direction he damn choose, cause he's the king. Like this, all right? But he ain't got no hustle. But the rest of these motherfuckers on the team, they got his back. And they run so deep, he really ain't gotta do shit.
Like your uncle.
Yeah, like my uncle. And you see this? This the queen. She smart, she fierce. She move any way she want, as far as she want. And she is the go get shit done piece.
Remind me of Stringer.
Then this over here is the castle. It's like the stash. You move like this and like this.
Dog, stash don't move, man.
Come on, yo, think. How many times we moved the stash house this week? Right? And every time we move the stash, we gotta move a little muscle with it, right? To protect it.
True. You right. All right. What about them little bald-headed bitches right there?
All right, these right here, these are the pawns. They like the soldiers. They move like this, one space forward only, except when they fight. And it's like this. And they like the front lines. They be out in the field.
So how do you get to be the king?
It ain't like that. See, the king, stay the king, all right? Everything stay who he is, except for the pawns. And for pawn, made it all the way down to the other dude's side, you get to be queen. And like I said, the queen ain't no bitch. She got all the moves.
All right, so if I make it to the other end, I win.
If you catch the other dude's king and trap it, then you win.
All right, but if I make it to the end, I'm top dog.
Nah, yo, it ain't like that. Look, the pawns, man, in the game, they get capped quick. They be out the game early.
Unless they some smart-ass pawns.